some kind of mounting device for my pipe that was going to hold this up on that stand I showed you. Inside, I took good old-fashioned foam. This foam, this green foam, comes from carpet. Okay? They take it out of remodels. I used a 3/4 inch foam, and that's to keep my speakers from touching this stuff. This stuff is what you make pillows out of. You just go to Walmart and you get your 2 bags of it, start shoving it in the holes. Once inside the box, however, I did carpet. Now the reason I used carpet was I didn't want the plastic to resonate too much. A little hard to show, but on 3 surfaces, this surface, the back surface, and this surface, I put in black carpet. This is a carpet runner. It's a sound deadener. I was trying to keep standing waves from getting in here and echoing too much and changing my frequencies. So I glued this stuff in with that spray adhesive. I got the carpet runner cheap over at Home Depot. Worked real well. You just cut it with a razor knife or scissors. Once you have all this in here, from the pillow stuffing to your foam, you then set up all your pieces of this. And like I said, you alternate them so that one's shooting out that way and one's shooting out that way. Like I said, my rise and drop on this is 1/4 inch on the front end, and I try to use a full piece, 1.5 inch 2x4, 2x6 in this case, cut down the size, and I mounted them across here. Put the end cap in, and I've suddenly got a box. I have a line array. Cutting these holes, very tedious. You use the jigsaw for that. Ran into trouble on my speakers. I went with the cheapest speaker I could get my hands on. This is a little thing's car audio speaker. It's a 5-inch. It doesn't even have an ohm rating. Instead, it says good for 4 or 8 ohm systems. So I had to meter it. Thanks to websites, I learned how to meter it to know whether this was essentially a 4 ohm or an 8 ohm speaker. It turned out it was a 4 ohm because the numbers told me. So I did use a volt-ohm meter. This guy's 5 inches around, which is why I had to spread my box with an extra piece of wood, which meant extra 32 cuts. If I had any major change, I get rid of that extra 32 cuts and I buy a slightly smaller speaker. A 4-inch will fit in the 5x5 fence post vinyl pipe. Okay, the vinyl fence post, it will fit without the extra piece of wood. It'll save you a lot of labor. You're going to wear a lot of sawdust on this. Now my tangs. These tangs were originally, on this speaker, sticking straight out. When I tried to mount it in the enclosure, it wouldn't go. So I had to bend each one individually for 32 speakers. Each one had to be bent up without breaking the wires. What did it come out with? Well, guys, it worked okay. This is half of a personal amplification system. On the back, I mounted my pipe. This is a gas pipe given to me by a friend, keeping the expenses down. I wanted this pipe to be offset off the edge so I could use it as a handle right here to carry it. Now, did I beat Bose on the weight? I kind of equaled them. This one unit weighs 27 pounds. So each stick is going to be 27 pounds times 2 plus me carrying this base thing. I took this guy and I spin him in. Now if you were doing this for a home theater, all you'd have to do is just leave all of this pipe and bracket stuff off. One speaker. Half of a stick of a personal amplification system. A line array. Took the black spray painted the plastic and the wood some. I'll go back and do it again. I've left my speakers exposed, excuse me. On my back brackets, I used, the cheapest thing I could find was this pipe that I had threaded at Home Depot. I used electrician's clamps. I bracketed them over a U-shaped shelf bracket that gave me enough rise to have a handle out of this. I can grip this thing, so I can move it from place to place. Obviously, I need to spray paint again for my screws that I added to my cap. I put 2 screws here, 2 in the back, 2 in the other side to hold this cap into place, and some Gorilla Glue and some clamps. So, this is half of an array. Well, I had a Home Depot gift card, so I had to use it up. So I ended up building 2 of them. And here's what my full stack looks like. That's a pipe threaded into another pipe at a half joint. Right here. Right now I'm using the spacer block because I haven't locked these into place yet. So I'm just using that to help support weight some. Okay? It's my line array. It stands 7 feet 8 inches tall. It has 16 speakers down its entire length from top to bottom. Bose has always had a problem in all of their designs, from the 802, the 901, any of their bigger designs. Mid-range drivers will never hit the highs right. The sizzle of a hi-hat on a drum kit doesn't come through. So I had to have a solution. This was my solution. Piezo tweeters. Now I mounted these tweeters, the cheap, 4 of them for $18 I think. Okay, cheap tweeters mounted inside the fence post. Glued into place with an RCA connector off of them. Took an extra piece of fence post and used it as a cross bracket. I glued it in with good old-fashioned plumber's glue. Okay, for PVC pipe, I used the blue goop because I like it best. It holds best. I use this kind of plumber's glue. It's blue. It's the underwater stuff. It holds better and it's thicker. You don't need to prime the plastic either. So, up here, what I ended up doing is building a top cap. Mine is a T. It's a tweeter here and a tweeter here, wired across here, RCA connector out. The RCA connector hooks into the top connector, which you cannot see from this angle, but the top connector that I let come out of my top rack. So this is a T-top. What's the last thing Bose, Bose has this thing, you know, no highs, no lows. It's a Bose. They're very good at mid-range. So, I already owned a subwoofer. So, since I already own a subwoofer, I have a 12-inch in a good old 1 cubic foot box. Bass reflex, got a tube in it. Okay, it was built for a prior system. So, what I ended up with is this guy that unscrews, twists into the bass. Let me see if I can get it far enough back that you can see it better. I have my tweeter on the top. Really put my tweeter cage on top and let it rest there. I did it on an angle, and that slight angle is supposed to project tweeter out this way and this way. A lot of audiophiles will say I'll now have combing. This is for PA. I'm not too worried about it. I just wanted the brightness back in the system. If I find out the piezos are too loud at high volume, I'll stick some foam in them to deaden them down a bit. So, it could use a cover, some kind of screen material, metal, if I was going to go fancy.